A and B are friends and know each other for more than 3 years. B is a pastor of a church in Turkey. A works for a small American humanitarian charity running projects in that region. B invited A to speak at a women gathering from her church to empower and encourage them. The gathering was organized by B at a local restaurant, inviting everyone for a meal. A didn't like this decision because it was very disrupting and they couldn't feel connected with the audience. 2 days after the gathering, B asked A organization to pay for that meal. A's organization refused, saying this should have been communicated with us ahead of time to be able to designate funds for that. Also, we should have been involved in the decision making and the process of organizing the event. B still believes she made a right choice based on her knowing of her people and still believes A's organization should compensate the church. This issue has affected the two organizations' relationship and A and B's relationship very negatively. A and B have a hard time understanding each other's point of view.
Yeah, you got it. And I think there was an assumption that they would pay because I don't know. I think there was an assumption there, and maybe my sister
Ah,
didn't answer back, or I'd have to check more deeply. I'm not even.
okay. Okay, so now what's happening for me as the mediator is I'm hearing the unspoken. This is like there is a depth of meaning that I'm sensing is there and it's not being fully articulated. This is really sensitive issue because I don't want to pretend that I'm hearing something that is not being said and I never want to override someone's authority. But in my experience as a mediator, I found that actually when I'm capturing those things that are not being fully said and are able to articulate them, it's really accelerating the process. And I think it's just a way to be in empathy that because I'm not emotionally involved, I can listen. There is a gap between the number of words that we can listen to is much greater than the number of words that we can express per minute. So if our brains are oriented to listening with empathy, in that space between the number of words that are being said and the number of words that we can listen to, we can actually hear more things that are not being said. So I'm going to give it a try. I may be wrong, but I will see. This is related to the power differences. So I'm going back to the role play and then we will end with that. So Lucy, I am sensing more there that I would like to see if I get, which I think is gonna maybe helpful for Akram to understand better. Are you open for me to try to say what I sense that you're trying to communicate and check with you if that's accurate?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I will do now something that I sometimes do in mediations, which I learned from this person that I studied with in Israel. Lucy, are you willing for me to speak in first tense as Lucy? Because that helps me to drop into that. And I will check with you if I get it or not. I'm not assuming that this will be true for you.
Okay. Yeah.
So, Akram, I want to say to you as Lucy, we've been friends for quite a while. You know me, and you know where I come from, and you know my organization, and you know our resources, and you know our struggles. And I think I was like, my shock is that I was anticipating, based on that, knowing of each other, that there is an awareness of that there's no way that we can fund something like this on our own, while being very well aware that you are in a different situation where you live with different access. And so I think that's what part of why I was working under this assumption, just trusting that we have a shared reality there. And so I'm going to pause and check. I'm still in the mediation. Lucy, was that accurate?
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't have said it this well, but that sounds true, feels true.
Okay, this is as best as it can get in terms of hearing people when they say to us, I couldn't say that better, or I couldn't say that in this way. It means that through this practice of empathy, we can listen to what is not being said and we can connect dots and present it and articulate it for the person, even if they don't have access to words. And so I'm glad I got to model that. And it's quite advanced, but it's a natural consequence of empathy. It's nothing voodoo. It's like all the information is there, and I'm just bringing it together. And so now I'm going to check with Akram if this was helpful to hear, even if you don't agree, and if you can see that this perspective would make sense.
Yes, that makes sense. It was painful, but that it makes sense.
Wow. Wow. I just want to say, out of the role play, now we are at a different depth, because now Akram became aware of a layer that was completely outside of awareness. And yes, it is painful and it is uncomfortable to become aware of something that I was not aware of, right? But it's also healing and liberating and connecting. I am trusting that now we are in this turning point.
I could say like there's something in me that as a friend now I noticed like I was kind of not in the friend role, right? So I noticed that there's a natural wanting to say, wow, I really value our relationship and I'm really regret, I really got the sense of how, and that's why I think I couldn't find the words because I felt a bit guilty. And so it's changed in myself to the place of wanting to be more compassionate.
You've been heard and you've been acknowledged, and you have a sense that Akram is really like recognizing something that she was not able to recognize before. Now you have shared reality. So it's no wonder that now your heart goes to her. The enemy image is dissolved for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
So now it will be very easy to collaborate about agreements. From this point, you can see that the transition to agreements, we're not doing that now because that's not the focus for today. But I think I'm really happy that this role play could see how the skill of listening can really support transformation.